I get a phone call and I say, Glenn Ray's Towing. It's my dad's towing company I was running. I said, Glenn Ray's Towing. And he said it was a Vanilla Ice. And he goes, hey, Marty Ray. And I was like, how you doing, man? Good. Glenn Ray's Towing. And he was like, hey, man, I love that Ice Baby you did, man. And I was like, okay, appreciate that, man. How you doing? I said, how can I help you? I still didn't understand
Yeah.
what this person needed. And I was like, I told your car, or I mean, what happened here? And he was like, it's Rob, and he says, Rob. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, okay. How can I help you? I still didn't know, because I didn't know his name was Rob Van Winkle
Right.
until that day, to be
Okay.
honest. And so then he said, it's Vanilla Ice. And then I was like, all right, sure. Cause I have a lot of prankster friends, and turned out to really be Vanilla Ice. And he said, I want to bring you out to Miami and you play with me on this I Love the 90s tour. And I believe that was the first one that they had done. And I said, all right, well, we're there.
Hey guys, today I want to tell you about an exciting app called Tiki that allows you to take back control of your data. Yes, they are the sponsor of today's show, and this is an amazing app. Look, did you know that companies made $382 billion, let me repeat that, billion dollars from your data last year? This app called Tiki allows you to choose what data you share with companies and how you can monetize it. You just link your accounts in the app and you get paid out. Tiki is completely free to use and is available worldwide, so you can start earning from anywhere. Tiki is launching very soon, and they have limited spots available for people to join, so make sure you go sign up today. Once you sign up, you'll be sent a link to download the app and start using it. They're growing super fast, and we'll be having weekly releases and adding new features as we speak. More than 30,000 people signed up, so make sure to join early. The link is also in the podcast description. You do not want to miss out on this. Marty, your husband, your father, lead singer for the Marty Ray Project, your actor, podcast host, much more, man. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
It's like looking in a mirror,
Yeah, only I'm prettier.
That's true. Let's go back a bit. Where did you grow up, and what was childhood like then for you?
Well, I only had a brother growing up. I had one brother.
Gotcha.
So I grew up with a brother, and we fought a lot and things like that. But we had some good times too, and grew up after I actually became a teenager. That's when my dad got all the other children in there. So
gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Grew up across the bridge in Arkansas.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Nice. And then you started writing songs like when you were like just 12 years old. Was there a moment in your early years where it just clicked and you're like, man, this is what I'm called to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing?
No, because like I tell everybody in a lot of interviews, I was come out of the womb singing, so it wasn't not something I learned to do. I didn't know how to, still don't know if I do it right is what I say, because I don't really know if I do it right. Probably.
Yeah.
But I started writing songs at 12 years old, and I remember my brother's friend was playing the piano there in our living room, and I just started singing to it, and he goes, man, that's good, you need to write that down. And so we wrote it down, and I always say that if I had that song, I'd have a number one hit on my hands if I had it. I don't know where it is or even what it said, but we at the time we really enjoyed it. Now, the reason I never really thought, hey, this is something I could do, a viable income or career, is because my family were always kind of realists. So they always said that's a pipe dream. If that's a dream at all, it's a pipe dream, and it's not really realistic. You can only really make a living with your hands, working with your hands. So that's kind of how I was trained, and then we were all trained the same way in my town. Dream within your city limits. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you were taught.
Man, who was that person that inspired you the most as a kid growing up?
Well, I mean, I was inspired by some of my family members. They were playing in church and singing in church, and they were writing songs, and they inspired me, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to sing in church, but some of them would say I wasn't good enough to sing, so I needed to learn how to play an instrument if I was gonna do anything at all. Better in music, I better learn how to play an instrument. But as far as the other artists, I grew up listening to Boyz II Men, and believe it or not, and I still like them to this day. And
Yeah.
Al Green, BB King, Mahalia Jackson. Listen to a lot of gospel music growing up. Still do. I got Mahalia Jackson hanging on my wall with BB.
Come
And,
on.
but the gospel singers inspired me the most, I believe. But later on, as I grew up, I think a little Leonard Skinner. There was Charlie Daniels was in there. There's several people. You, saying one person would be impossible.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Wow. I've been listening to your music for quite some time, man, and absolutely love your music, man. Love the genre mixes that you have and things like that. And you wrote this song called "The Storm" with CJ Wilder, man, and that song is so good. It's so powerful. How did that song come together? I mean, I kind of understand where it came from, but like for those who haven't heard it yet, what's that song about, man?
You know what's so weird is you just asked me about that song, and right when you said CJ Wilder, a text from CJ pops up on my computer. That was very strange.
For
Anyway,
sure.
he lost everything. He lost everything he had in his house and his cars and everything in that tornado that came through Nashville. So
Yeah.
I was just driving down the road after helping him. After helping him, we were all, not just me, but a bunch of us were helping CJ get the stuff out of his torn down house and things like that. And when I was headed home, I just started in my head. I was trying to think about what he was thinking about and
Mhm.
what I would have been thinking about had I been in a house trying to protect my children and my wife while a tornado was tearing my house down, and then it was like, I just driving down the road, I was like, I remember hearing all the noises, all the screams coming from the voices. And then they came like that. And the next thing I was like, man, I like that.
Yeah.
And I wrote the verse and chorus and sent it to CJ just in a voice memo. I said, you want to write this with me? He goes, oh, I definitely do. So that's really how it came together, just like that.
Come on. Yeah. See, that's so awesome, man. And I think I read somewhere that at some point during your career, Sony had offered to sign you to a label. And I don't know if it sounded like maybe you had turned it down at the time, wasn't right at the time. I'm a true believer in life happens for us, not to us. But what happened with that?
Well, they didn't offer to sign me. I had a meeting with them,
Okay.
and I had a meeting with Sony a long time ago, early on in my career, when I thought I listened to them. I thought listened. Again, another text coming. I hear it and I read the word listen. Anyway, I wish I could get this to where the text wouldn't show up on my computer screen. It's so annoying. Anyway, I had a meeting with them, and at the time I had no fans. So I thought that I needed them, is what I
Mm,
was saying. I thought I needed a record deal.
yeah.
Years I thought that. And then when I met with them, the guy was kind of big dogging, and all I had was an album out. I had one album that I had spent the last bit of my money making, and it was the EP. It was the very first EP that I'd done. It says on iTunes and places that it was released in 2015, but it really wasn't. It was released way before that.
Mm,
I got in with some quote manager, and things didn't go well, and I told them to pull it down, and I was going to repost it myself because I never seen a dime from it. And I even tested them to see if they were showing me my money at all. And I ordered it myself several times, just bought it myself to
yeah.
see if they were actually reporting to me,
Wow.
and they weren't. So I said, well, I know you're lying, pull it down. And I said, I'm not even worried about getting the money because I ain't got time to go to court. Like, I don't
Yep.
feel like messing with you. And I'm sure it wasn't that much money anyway. If it had been, hundreds of $1,000s, I would have, but I don't
Yeah.
think it was. But who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe I'm sitting on a gold mine. I need to go sue them. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
Sony heard me perform, and they asked me to come to a meeting, and I went, and there was this guy, and he was saying, your stuff's okay, it's all right, but nobody will buy it. That's what he was saying. I said, and I was like, how do you know?
You're right.
How do you know that? And he was like, well, I've been involved with this and that and all these things and that. And I was like, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, what, how many songs did you say would make it, but they didn't make it? Were number ones, but they weren't number ones. Like, people only tell you their successes, they don't tell you their failures.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, but Timbaland, who is a producer, you know who Timbaland is?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
his book, and one of the greatest quotes come from his book that I love, and I have in my quote book. And he said, "My failures are as vital to my process as my successes,"
Mm.
which is true.
Yeah.
My failure in not getting a record deal, because I met with Sony, and then fast forward about 3 or 4 months, maybe 6 months later, I'm horrible with time frames. Then I met with Average Joe's and found out that if I had to go through a record label, I wasn't going to do it. So it was either God had this for me to do, either God was going to prosper this, or it wasn't going to happen. So I just said I'll put music videos out and see what happens until it don't happen no more. And
Come
that's what
on.
we're doing.
Man, it's so good, dude. And I love your cover of Vanilla Ice. And I got to see that guy play Ice Ice Baby live at a conference I was at one time, man. He just seems like the coolest guy ever. And then you even got to play with him. Like, how was that experience?
It was very cool. Yeah, he called me when he called me. I don't know how long you've been a fan, but that song came out. Seems like 6 7 years ago now. I don't know
Yeah.
how long it came out on the original, not on the YouTube. People always look at the YouTube when I say that. The YouTube came later because my success started on Facebook, and I didn't even mess with YouTube.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, YouTube videos, the timestamp, because then I'll say that, and people go to my YouTube and go, "Well, it says here this date," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to realize I was only posting things to my personal Facebook because my page didn't exist at the time."
Yeah.
But anyway, when that went viral, I had a bunch of people messaging me saying that they were best friends with Vanilla Ice, and I thought, sure. But at the time, I ran a record service, so I was like, all right, well, if you want my number, here's my number. It's a business number anyway, so it ain't like you can't get it.
You're right.
So anyway, so I give them my number, and I give my number out to several people at that time, and lo and behold, a couple months, 3 months later, I get a phone call and I say, Glenn Ray's Towing. It's my dad's towing company I was running. I said, Glenn Ray's Towing. And he said it was a Vanilla Ice. And he goes, hey, Marty Ray. And I was like, how you doing, man? Good, Glenn Ray's Towing. And he was like, hey, man, I love that Ice Ice Baby you did, man. And I was like, okay, appreciate that, man. How you doing? I said, how can I help you? I still didn't understand
Yeah.
what this person needed. And I was like, I told your car, or I mean, what happened here? And
Yeah.
he was like, it's Rob, and he says, Rob. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, okay, how can I help you? I still didn't know, because I didn't know his name was Rob Van Winkle
Right.
until that day, to be
Okay.
honest. And so then he said, it's Vanilla Ice. And then I was like, all right, sure. Cause I have a lot of prankster friends, and turned out to really be Vanilla Ice. And he said, I want to bring you out to Miami, and you play with me on this I Love the 90s tour. And I believe that was the first one that they had done. And I said, all right, well, we're there. And we went to, I say Miami, it's actually Boca Raton,
Yeah.
but everybody says Miami. He even said it. So I'll say it too.
Right.
But yeah, super cool. He's a super, super cool fella.
Yeah.
We're friends still to this day. And I'm glad that was a blessing for us to get to meet and become friends. And that's happened with a lot of people after that too. So
Yeah. Man. Hey guys, today I want to tell you about an exciting app called Tiki that allows you to take back control of your data. Yes, they are the sponsor of today's show, and this is an amazing app. Look, did you know that companies made $382 billion, let me repeat that, billion dollars from your data last year? This app called Tiki allows you to choose what data you share with companies and how you can monetize it. You just link your accounts in the app and you get paid out. Tiki is completely free to use and is available worldwide, so you can start earning from anywhere. Tiki is launching very soon, and they have limited spots available for people to join, so make sure you go sign up today. Once you sign up, you'll be sent a link to download the app and start using it. They're growing super fast, and we'll be having weekly releases and adding new features as we speak. More than 30,000 people signed up, so make sure to join early. The link is also in the podcast description. You do not want to miss out on this. And then this whole COVID thing comes and really knocks out the whole live music thing. And it's been tough for musicians, but you do live concerts on YouTube and Facebook every single month, man. How are those been going for you?
Well, we were doing them every month, but I've been slacking off a little bit. I don't think
Okay.
I want in a month and a half. So I really need to get one done this month for sure.
Gotcha.
And I'm really hoping I can. But yeah, we want to do that every month. We want to do, but that's how my career actually began and still is. It's online. So,
Yeah.
but I do need that. I do need to play. I need those shows too, because that's how I make a living as well as online. Some people only make a living doing shows.
Right.
So it's really hard on them. It's way worse on them. But I was blessed. God blessed me with the ability to have fans all over the world. It's almost a blessing and a curse in some ways. It's a blessing, of course, to have 1.2 million fans across the board, but they're spread out all over the world. That's a blessing, but it's actually a curse if you want to do a local concert. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to try to get because you can't get that 1.2 million people to show up in Nashville. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a battle sometimes, just to not only to battle the algorithm to get the word out to the people that are in Nashville, but to hope that you have enough fans that are directly in Nashville that'll show up, or anywhere else I go, that for that matter, anywhere else, because we play all over the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Got to come out to Idaho. now that you know someone out here.
Find us a place to play out there and tell them to bring us in.
Come on. Absolutely. Absolutely. What are you most excited about right now here heading into 2021?
What am I most excited about right now? I'm excited mainly right now, to be honest with you, about the album that's coming out and my podcast. I have a podcast as well.
Yeah, love your podcast, man. It's the Marty Ray Project Chats, right?
Marty Ray Project Chats. Yeah, it's Chris Wallen and I. And Chris is actually a hit songwriter. He wrote "Don't Blink" and something to be proud of, amongst a myriad of other songs. I just always call out those two because they're probably my favorites.
Yeah.
But and they were number ones, so that helps as well. He's had, I think, 3 number ones. But yeah, it's just two entertainers talking to other entertainers, and sometimes we ask questions that other people ain't gonna ask. Sometimes we just talk and chat with these people and try to get information out of them that you otherwise wouldn't get, maybe, if we can. And if we can't, then you're just a fly on the wall in a conversation. That's kind of what it is. But I'm excited about that. I'm having fun doing that podcast, and I'm having fun recording getting the rest of the songs finished for this album that should have been out 2 years ago, but will be out this year for sure.
Nice. Yeah. I'm totally excited about the new album, man. I have both of your albums on my iTunes list, man, and then been jamming to your YouTube videos for sure, man, for a long time. But wanted to kind of shift to some fun questions. I mean, when you're not playing music, which is probably the majority of your time, but what are you doing for fun, man?
For fun, well, I just like to one thing, as you can tell by looking at me, I like to do for fun is eat.
Okay.
I love to eat, and that's an unfortunate thing. As somebody said the other day, they had lost their taste buds or their sense of taste or something. I was like, that would be a blessing and a curse for me. That'd be a blessing because I would whatever's healthy, just bring it to me. If I don't taste it anyway.
Yeah.
I would also be very depressed that I couldn't taste tacos and pizza again.
Right. Yeah.
That would suck. But yeah, for fun though, I mean, we go out to eat, and we as a family, I have two daughters, and my daughters and my wife and I, we watch movies. We play board games. Believe it or not, we still play board games.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So just anything that involves me and my family, and I'm down to do it. That's my funnest times.
Yeah. The first live concert that I ever went to was Richard Marx. What was the first live concert that you remember, man?
The first live concert I ever went to was the very concert that turned me on to country music, because I didn't like country music at all.
Okay.
Growing up, like I said, I listened to R&B and gospel, and I listened to a little bit of blues.
Gotcha.
So my parents listened to country, or my mother listened to a lot of country. My dad didn't really listen to a whole lot of music, but my mother listened to a lot of country. So I didn't like it because of that. That was old people music to me. And then my mom took us when I was 12 years old, took us to a Garth Brooks concert at the Pyramid in Memphis. And when I went to that concert and saw Garth Brooks like swinging on ropes and bashing guitars together and ring of fire around the stage and things like that, I thought, wow, this is uh this is something else. This is more than just country. Maybe I should give this country a little shot. And I started listening to Garth Brooks, and I really fell in love with a lot of his songs. The writing of them, the writing. I think Garth Brooks was the first person to make me fall in love with the actual lyrics of a
Right.
song, story of a song, like with Thunder Rose and Unanswered Prayers and things like that. Every song he has is this epic story, and I started really falling in love because before that, I was just listening to the song and the melody. And I always listen to lyrics because I always wanted to learn the song, but I wasn't really intrigued by all the other stories all the time until Garth Brooks told the stories in the way that he did. And then I started wanting to do the same thing. So, yeah, after that, that's when I started listening to some of the older guys because of Garth. I started listening to Hank Sr. and Hank Jr. and Charlie Daniels and all these people. And I really took a liking to all of it. So
Yeah.
now, like almost all music, I think I like it. There's something I'm gonna like from everything outside of maybe death metal. I probably don't like any of that. I don't think I've never to this day heard any of that screaming puke music or whatever they call it that I actually enjoyed, and
Right.
I'm just saying I haven't enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm a big fan of Garth too, man. Love his music. Actually, the first country concert I ever went to was Kenny Chesney, and it was unbelievable to see that guy. And that was like back in like 2000 and probably 9 or something like that. And it was probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to by far.
wow, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who sings Don't Blink.
Right. Yeah.
That's just one of the songs Chris wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was an unbelievable concert, man. It was absolutely, and I won tickets to it, and I was like, oh man, it's free. I'll go to a country concert because I was kind of this rocker guy, and man, after that concert, I'm all for like country, and I'm a pretty good mix now, but I definitely opened my eyes to all the country music out there.
Isn't that something?
Man, yeah, it was unbelievable. Absolutely, like I mean, I've been to a ton of rock shows, right? But he put on a like performance, man. It was awesome. Just like blew my mind for sure.
What's the biggest rock show you've been to?
I saw Lincoln Park at the stadium where the Seattle Seahawks play. It was about 30,000 people.
Yeah.
Biggest one that I saw probably outside of that was Rage Against the Machine back in 1999 with 20,000 people at a outdoor venue out in Washington State, man.
I was a fan of Rage
Yeah,
back well, that one album at least. Killing in the name of.
totally.
That
Yeah,
that was a rocking album there.
man, it was a wild concert. It was in a real tiny town called George, Washington, and it's at an outdoor amphitheater called the Gorge. And they almost canceled the concert. Like it went to the local court, and they're like, "Dude, these guys are going to start riots. We can't have a concert." And so they came to this conclusion, like, "Okay, you guys just have to have extra security there for this concert to go on." So we go there, and it's like not your typical guys who are out there, like the parking guys. These guys are like having AKs on their chest and they're like directing traffic into the venue. And then you get down to the stage and it's like shoulder to shoulder police officers in front of the stage. It was just wild. And then,
Funny because Rage is like, they're very political and
right.
they're very like against like police and and government and stuff. So it's very funny to hear that.
It was interesting. And, the band, The Roots opened up for him, which was really cool back in the day.
Fallon.
And oh man, it was unbelievable. But when Rage came out, the lights go out and everyone's going crazy, and they opened up with "F the Police," and the crowd just went nuts. And I'm sure every police officer right there standing in front just was like, "What the heck's going on?"
Yeah. You
Just
somebody Roots that play with Jimmy Fallon?
yeah,
Huh. Okay. I didn't know
yeah,
they were playing that long.
man. They were supposed to. It was supposed to be Wu-Tang Clan that was supposed to open up for them.
Right.
And then something happened with like ODB got in trouble or something like that a few days before, and the Roots stepped in last minute and ended up opening for him.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I was enthralled by the drummer. I forget his name now. Did like this 20-minute solo, man. Just amazing back there on the drums.
Yeah. I remember the lead singer left and I think they tried to keep the band going, but that wasn't gonna work.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
I got back together now, so you'll get another chance at George Washington over there.
Yeah, for sure, man. One last question for you. Always the fun one to ask, but if you could jump into a pool of anything, what would it be?
A pool of anything. Do I get to keep what I jump into?
For sure.
Pool of money.
Yeah.
Gold.
Me too, man.
You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Going for it. There you go.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Marty, it's such an honor to have you on my show, man. This is so good. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, man. And unbelievable, man. You are a world changer, man. Thank you so much for taking the time.
I appreciate you having me, man. Anybody that wants to get more information about shows and merchandise and go to martyrayproject.com, and you can join the mailing list right there or get merch right there. And also, don't forget to check out our podcast, the Marty Ray Project Chats, and rate and review that, and rate and review this one, because this is an amazing podcast as well, whoever's listening, because that helps, don't it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching the show today. I appreciate it. If you could, please leave a rating and review on our Apple podcast. The link is down below. That helps us get our message out, get the show out, helps us get ranked out there on the Apple podcast. Also, leave a comment below, man. I'd love to know what part of this show made the most impact on you. I respond to every comment on there. And please share this video, whether you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please share it out. We want to make sure that we impact as many people as we can with the guests that come on my show and highlight those guests and what they've got going on, and they're changing the world. So thank you so much for the time. So appreciate it. Have an awesome day.